Hi, this is our first little segment of the assignments for EDF 1303. And Tim and I, your UCs for this unit, would like to just give you a bit more information so that when you are thinking about your assessment tasks for this unit, you can come back to this video and we can highlight some of the main features of it. Now, the quizzes are a little bit different, obviously, than the written tasks, but we did want to give you just kind of a little guide and give you some ideas about what to expect. Now, technically your first assessment task is due on the 25th of March, but we're going to talk a little bit about how this works. I'm going to first talk about why we are having quizzes, and then we'll talk about kind of the features and how to use the quiz feature in Moodle. So why? The reason why we're doing quizzes is because one of the things that we feel very strongly about, particularly with assessment in education, is that we assess in various ways. Because there are some people that are very good at writing essays and others that that's a real struggle for them. So we want to be able to assess your knowledge in a variety of different ways. So quizzes is one way to do that. In addition, you will be taking the literacy and numeracy test, hopefully in this year. So this kind of gives you some practice in being able to look at questions and try to find the best multiple choice answer for that question. So we're trying to kind of simulate but also scaffold you in taking that test by providing a quiz format for you for your first assignment. Now for this first quiz, so there are two quizzes. The first quiz will be on the contents from weeks 1 to 4. And the important thing about that is that it'll help you try to keep up on the reading. I know that the reading can seem like a lot of work, but remember to think about those reading strategies in that you can skim and scan. You look at the headings so that you can go back to find the information that you'd like to find out more about. So in your tutorials we will talk a little bit more about that, but I think it's important to think about those reading strategies so when you have a lot of reading you can you can read very efficiently when you have a lot to read. So Tim, I'm going to let you talk a little bit more about the dates and kind of the structure of the quiz. Yep. And so on.
So as Melissa said, the quiz is due to be completed by Sunday the 25th of March. So the quiz will actually open from the Monday, so that week. So you've got from Monday the 19th of March. You've got a week to complete the quiz. There'll be 20 questions. They're all multiple choice. For this first quiz you can log in and out of it as many times as you like. And your final grade will be the sort of highest grade you get once you fully complete and submit the quiz.
So Tim, are you saying if I'm a very conscientious student and I want to take it 15 times to ensure that I get the highest grade possible, I can?
If you would like to, you can do that.
Or I can wait until 11 o'clock on, what is it, Sunday the 25th of March and take it once?
You can, but you want to sort of allow for some more time.
Okay, thank you.
Get in early. So yeah, so there's 20 questions. Each question's worth 0.5, so it's overall it's worth 10% of your overall grade for EDF 1303. And as Melissa said, it's based on the readings, the content of the readings over the first 4 chapters of your textbook. And it is open book, so you can obviously refer to your book to help you with your the answers to the questions.
Which is important, and I think that's the thing, is that one of the things that we really want you to do is we really want you to read the content. And so this is kind of one way to keep you accountable to that. So while we don't expect you to go through all of the readings with a fine-tooth comb, we'd like you to just get into the readings, and hopefully this quiz will prompt you to think about some of the main questions and be able to kind of go back to your book. So you don't have to know the answer right away, but that you can actually go back to your book, have some familiarity with your textbook, and be able to find the answer. So this is not going to be a very difficult quiz because it's open book, but it'll help you and almost kind of force you to try to find the key concepts that we really want you to know more about.
And quiz 2.
Yes, should we show them, give them a little preview of what it might look like?
That's a fantastic idea.
So now this This format here on the screen is our view, so it might be slightly different for you. You won't get a preview, but because we're in lecture mode, you'll see something very different. But you'll click on the quiz for chapters 1 to 4.
And for those of you who are wondering where this is, the quizzes and all your assignments are under the Assessment Tasks tab in Moodle.
Thank you. So here's just kind of a preview. Basically, you'll have a question and you'll pick A, B, C, or D. Now you can also flag the question, maybe something you weren't quite sure about, and then when the quiz closes, you'll have some immediate feedback on how well you did and which questions you got right for all of your attempts. And this is also important. You know, we are pretty on top of things, of course, right, Tim? But sometimes we do make mistakes. And so if there is a mistake, now we've trialed this quiz, but sometimes things do go wrong. So if there's anything, flag the question and say, I'm not quite sure, you know, about this question, and we'll look into it and credit you the points if there is something wrong. So here's just an example of the quiz. For the first quiz, there is no time limit, so you can go in as many times as you want within that week and take as long as you'd like. Now on to quiz 2.
So quiz 2 will be available from Monday the 30th of April, and again it's open for a week, so it closes on Sunday the 6th of May at 11:55 p.m. So again, same sort of format, 20 questions, each question's worth 0.5, overall worth 10%. The difference with this one is that you can only go in once, you only have one attempt, which you can see there in bold, and you have a set time limit of 45 minutes. So it's still open book, but of course because you're restricted to 45 minutes, you'll have less time to sort of peruse through your book. So the second quiz is based on chapters 5 to 8, with the first one being chapters 1 to 4. So with this one, we're sort of, I suppose, trying to simulate a little bit the land type, if you like, sort of exam type scenario where you've got a set time limit and a certain number of questions to complete within that time limit. So you'll have 45 minutes, one attempt to complete the second quiz. But it's again, you still can use your textbook, lecture slides, etc. Still 20 questions, but you've just got that time factor.
Right. And we've done this quiz before last year, and we've gotten really good feedback. I think students really like these quizzes because it did help them really get into the textbook. And no one seemed to have problems with that 45 minutes. So that provided enough time for them to answer the questions. So if any of you kind of stress out about the idea of a time test, I don't think anyone of the over 700 students we had last year had any difficulty finishing at that time. So don't worry too much about that time limit. All right, well, this is again segment one of the assessment guide that we'll give you. We wish you all the best, and again, we do these quizzes not because we like to torture you and create these various exercises that you have to do and complete, but because we really think that it will help you really identify some of the key concepts and scaffold your learning. So all the best, and we'll see you in segment 2.
And don't forget to ask your tutor if you have any questions about the quizzes or about any of the assessment tasks. Thank you.
Bye.